Well, I was told about these by one of my members, because we have lots of different conversations on our member site. She asked me if I'd ever tried them, and I said, no, I hadn't, but I'll get some and I'll try them. So I bought some and they've just arrived. They did take about 2 weeks to come. So what are they, I hear you ask? Well, these are mica powder brushes, and they're actually, I think, designed for makeup more than anything. So she asked me whether these would work on molds, and I said, well, I don't know. They certainly make my hand look pretty. So I'm going to give that a go. So we'll see if this is going to make life a little bit easier. I'm going to use my little gnome molds because they've got quite a lot of details in on the insides, and see if we can get a good result. Now, these are quite biggish molds. They take quite a lot of resin, and I'm not going to use a one-to-one in those because I think it might flash cure in those. So I'm going to be using the right resin, which is this T-Expert deep pour resin. Now, if you don't make many deep pour projects, you don't want to invest a lot of money into buying some large ones, even though it is a great price. This does come in these beautiful 16-ounce bottles. So really inexpensive, great value for these sorts of jobs. So let's get on with this. Now, personally, I just think these are an expensive way of getting mica powder onto a little sponge brush, because the mica powder itself is compressed in there. There's not going to be a great deal in here. So that's one of the things I think I'm not happy about. The other one is there is no colours whatsoever written on these. There's only a colour code. Now, that's fine if you know what the colour codes are, but if you don't, like me, then what are you supposed to do? So I'm not sure I'm going to be well impressed with these little brushes, but we'll give them a go. I'm not going to knock them, but you'll have to excuse me because I have no idea what colours I'm going to be using where. Right, so let's get going. So this is the first colour I'm going to be using, and I'm going to be using it in that mould there, in this larger Santa one. Now, when I use the resin on this, I am going to put some white into the resin because that will help these colours to show a little bit more. But I've got to be honest, this is not proving to be that easy because it's not actually coming out onto that brush very well. Oh, this is rubbish. Now, I can't get the mica powder out of there. It's just stuck in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these brushes, but without the mica powder that they've provided. And I'm going to use my own mica powder on these brushes. That might work. Let's have a look. Because it does, these little sponge brushes do pick this mica powder up really well, look. Oh, that's a bit better. I couldn't cope with that. That was insanely annoying. And if that's the case, then what I can do is I can just buy these little sponges and use them instead of the makeup brushes. It is actually working, I think, quite well for these. It's not brushing it about, it is putting it on there and roughly where I want it as well. This is white for his bearded boos. I can get a bit more pressure onto these, which is quite useful because that's making the actual mica powder stick to it really well. I'm changing my mind. I'm going to fill these with clear resin so that we can see exactly what is going on with the mica powder. Look how well that has covered that. That has covered that really well. I'm going to use a different colour for his head. I give him a gold nose. I don't know what I'd give him a gold nose. Really, I should have just given him a red nose. I'll give this one a red nose. Well, that did paint on there a lot easier. There is no doubt about it. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to finish these off and then I'll show you what I'm going to do next. I've mixed all my resin up and I'm pouring this in here nice and slowly. And as you can see, there isn't many bubbles in this. And I'm giving it a bit of squidgy widgy as well to ensure that all the resin is anywhere that it needs to be and there isn't any trapped bits on there. Massive thank you to all my members whose names are coming up now. Thank you very much for joining the live stream Q&A we had the other day and the live stream on using alcohol inks. We have lots of things going on in there. So if you'd like to become a member, check out the perks in the description below. Bursting any bubbles that may have come up with a long neck lighter, never a torch, remember, and then leaving this to cure. Well, these have all cured up now and I'm ready to demold them and we can see how well these brushes worked. And as you know from the beginning of the video, I wasn't that impressed with the actual mica that comes in the brushes, but I did quite like the brush itself and it did allow for a much easier application of the mica powder. So there's the first one, and don't forget we did this with a total clear as well, and this only took 48 hours to cure because it was the deep pour resin. I can see that has given a really good even coating. If I'd have filled this with a white resin as opposed to a clear resin, so put some white pigment in it, that would have highlighted that even more. But I didn't want to do that because I wanted to see how well it came out. But the red on that nose has come out really well. So has the gold on the hat and the white on the beard. Really pleased with the style of foam brush on there, but the actual mica in it, yeah, that didn't work. So kind of a success. I will definitely carry on using them and see if I can get hold of some of those sponge brushes instead. Let's have a look at this one. So this one has come out equally as well. Again, clear totally through because I wanted to give it a really true feeling of how it would look. I love these little gnome molds. They're so cute. If I'd have filled that again with white, that would have given a much more solid colour. But overall, I think it's given a really good colour and it has given a much more even coat than I find I get normally with my makeup brushes, so I'm definitely going to continue using them. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to boop that like button. If you want to show your appreciation for this video and any of my videos, then hit that subscribe button and ring that bell, and also that way you won't miss out on any of my future videos. Take care, enjoy your resin, bye.